last episode of our favorite series in 2017, and I think it was done really well. I really enjoyed this episode. It makes my top 3 episodes list after episodes 23 and 37. And Sage Mode has nothing to do with it, to be honest. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into my review. I've personally read Mitsuki One Shot a couple of months ago, and for that reason I didn't preview this episode, so yeah, I apologize for that, because if you're new to my channel I preview all the episodes of Boruto, and this was the first time that I didn't do it on purpose. Anyway, the adaptation was fucking perfect. Obviously, the thing I was interested in was how they were going to start the episode, and I really liked the beginning, how it was raining, and Sarada was talking with Mitsuki, and at the end of the episode it was sunny, so that's big symbolism there, but I'll talk about that later, about sun. Anyway, we get to know Mitsuki's character even more. Now, Mitsuki is one of my favorite next-gen characters. It's been like that ever since the series started, and I was really always interested in his character, especially after I read the Mitsuki one-shot. And this episode was really needed in order for us to know the entire Team 7. Sarada got a lot of episodes for herself. Boruto is the main protagonist of the series, obviously, and yeah, Mitsuki just got his episode. Now, this episode was just brilliant in my opinion. I honestly think it's one of those quote-unquote perfect episodes, at least obviously in my honest opinion. At the start of the episode, we see Mitsuki. He looks way younger than he is right now, because he is younger at that point. And we see Orochimaru. Throughout the episode, you guys remember it, a certain soundtrack is playing in the background, and it really fits the entire situation. Everything is so mysterious, and yeah, I just felt like the soundtrack was placed really well, which just enhances the entire experience that you get while watching the episode. Obviously, we saw Suigetsu there. Now, Orochimaru created Mitsuki. He's his experiment. He's, I think, the 6th attempt, I think it was stated in this episode. Anyway, his memories were erased because Log took them, apparently. But later on, we see that Orochimaru was giving him some drugs that will take away his memories. Like, I'm a bit confused with that part, but anyway, his memories were taken away from him. Anyway, there's the scene I really liked between Suigetsu and Mitsuki. Suigetsu wanted to see if Mitsuki still has his ninja instincts abilities, right? And he attacks him, and then the way that Mitsuki counters that, I really enjoyed that part, and how at the last moment he puts his own arm in front of the kunai and stabs himself, excuse me, and then it was a water clone by Suigetsu, and then he heals his wound, I guess. And I just thought that moment was done really well, because Suigetsu, he never got, I don't know, so much screen time in Naruto. But one thing we know about Suigetsu, his personality, like, he's a cool character, right? He's chill always, and it really fits his character. And I think I think this was done really well. Now, Orochimaru explains to Mitsuki everything, that they went on a mission, that his memories were taken away, and that they need to take this scroll or whatever. And anyway, Mitsuki and Orochimaru go to where Log was, and Mitsuki breaks the barrier just by touching it, basically. And here comes the most interesting part of the episode. Obviously, we had a great fight between Log and Orochimaru. I thought it was animated very well. Obviously, it was expanded because this is anime, right? In the Mitsuki one shot, if I remember correctly, the fight wasn't so long. I don't even recall. Like, okay, I read it a couple of months ago, but I don't even remember that there was some significant fight. But anyway, I might just forgot it. Anyway, it was fucking perfect, this fight. It was animated really well. I really liked the Kenjutsu part between Log and Orochimaru. Kenjutsu is basically fighting with swords. Anyway, Log was captured. Orochimaru explained that he put a small snake inside of his armor, and that the curse mark will do there was some type of poison, and you know that poison was gonna do its thing. Orochimaru goes inside to take the scroll, I guess. I'm just gonna call it a scroll. I don't know how they call it in the episode. And Mitsuki stands there with Log. Now, after Mitsuki takes off Log's mask, which by the way shows how naive Mitsuki was at that age. Right now, he's less naive because he's older and he probably learned a lot of stuff about the shinobi world. But anyway, he takes off Log's mask, and yeah, that's the big. That's something big for people who never who never read Mitsuki one shot. Basically, Log is an older version of Mitsuki. He's one of the previous experiments, and he got. Now, this is very confusing to me because obviously he said that Orochimaru is creating us because he's very narcissistic and all that. But later on, after everything, it seems like it was part of the plan between Orochimaru and Log. But anyway, it really feels as though Log is, to a certain extent, pissed off at Orochimaru because he's, according to Log, playing with pretending to be a god. Now, Orochimaru obviously is one of the most unique villains in Naruto, because most of the villains in Naruto had some type of higher goal, right? They weren't really evil, but Orochimaru was presented as this evil character, which he really was, to be honest. Now, we know that he lost his parents when he was young, and I always wanted to see that. Like, I'm not saying that they should have made him as this villain with a higher goal, because having a different villain was very unique in Naruto, but I really wanted to see his past, because at least in my honest opinion, this is just how I see it, a couple of times in this episode when Orochimaru was mentioning how they're his sons, how he can only love his son, it really felt like, yeah, okay, it's very, very weird when Orochimaru says it, because, you know, at the end of the day, he did create him as vessels, but I think there's some type of love there. Now, this is just, as I said, how I see it. After I watched the episode, I actually just went and rewatched the part where Orochimaru was talking. I'm losing my words. And it really felt like he's not a regular person, Orochimaru, right? But it did feel like he was kind of honest about it. This is, of course, I'm just going to repeat it for the third time, my opinion. I know it's very controversial to say something like this about Orochimaru, one of the most evil characters that were shown to us in Naruto ever. But anyway, Orochimaru decided to be good again at the end of the 4th grade Shinobi War when he helped Tsunade, and the rest is history. Anyway, as Orochimaru and Log were arguing, Log was like, come over to my side. Orochimaru was like, I have the key, I have the scroll. Again, I know they didn't call it scroll, but I'm just gonna call it scroll. And that's when the big moment happened. Mitsuki enters his Sage mode, which really shows how overpowered he is. And a couple of weeks ago, when he was fighting Shino, I made a review, obviously, because I review every episode of Boruto. And in that video, I said that wasn't Sage mode. I don't know what it was, but that wasn't Sage mode. Because if it was Sage mode, Shino would have been dead, okay? And yeah, this really shows, because when he entered the Sage mode, did you see that fucking speed? Orochimaru and Log didn't even realize that he took the scroll and the key. Everything lasted for a second. Mitsuki was so fucking overpowered, and it was really cool seeing it. I just loved his design. I posted a picture of him on my Twitter page like straight away, because it was a really great moment. By the way, my Twitter is in the description below, as well as the Discord server. Anyway, and there's something very interesting that Mitsuki says. It's like, I'm not gonna quote the exact thing that he said, but it was something like, to me, it doesn't matter what you adults are talking about, something like that, because throughout this episode, it was really important for him to know who he really was. I remember when he asked Orochimaru, are you my mom or my dad? Orochimaru was like, I'm your parent, and everything was so mysterious for Mitsuki. It probably still is, but anyway, he leaves, and this is the I want to say confusing part. I want somebody to clear this up in the comment section. Just please explain it to me. It felt like it was planned by Orochimaru and Log. Alright, it felt like this. Or maybe they didn't plan it, but the fact that Mitsuki decided to take his own path was what made both Orochimaru and Log satisfied. And Orochimaru even adds, I don't want to, you know, do a 7th experiment or something like that. So yeah, this is just a bit confusing to me. It's not really that important in this situation. What's the most important thing is what I'm about to talk right now, and that is Mitsuki's decision. Obviously, in the scroll, Log put Boruto's picture, and obviously at this point Mitsuki doesn't know Boruto, but he has a hope, he has a goal. I'm gonna try and contact this kid and let's see if he's going to be my son. And the conversation between Orochimaru and Log was truly priceless in my honest opinion. As they were talking, one of them, I think it was Log, he said, Orochimaru, doesn't really matter, I think it was Log, he says, eventually moon becomes full, something like that. And this is some huge symbolism in my opinion. I'm gonna explain it. This is just my interpretation. So apparently Boruto has to be Mitsuki's son, but Mitsuki doesn't represent darkness, he represents the moon. Now, what does moon do? Moon is some type of light in the darkness, because when the sun goes down, it's darkness, obviously, and if it wasn't for the moon, we wouldn't be able to see anything. We're not including the stars right now, obviously, just for the sake of the situation. Yeah, moon is important for dark periods, and this really symbolizes, you know, Boruto's and Mitsuki's friendship. Mitsuki is going to be there for Boruto. He already was a couple of times. He's one of the main reasons why Kagura decided to take, you know, to go to Boruto's side during the Hidden Mist arc, because Mitsuki brought that info that showed that, yeah, Shizuma was killing all of these innocent people. And he was there a couple of times for Boruto. And I don't know if you remember this a couple of episodes ago, but Mitsuki, when Boruto was trying to find a souvenir for Himawari, Mitsuki took one old lady and he was holding her like this. For some reason, I don't know why, but most of the people I saw on YouTube found this as some type of gag moment, which was funny. I never found this moment funny. It really showed that, yeah, Mitsuki is an artificial human being. Artificial being, not human. The way he understands some things is way different than a regular human, but he's gonna change with Boruto. So yeah, that's the thing. Going back to the symbolism thing that I've mentioned, moon does represent some type of light and darkness, but a moon isn't always full. Moon, as time goes by day, becomes more and more full, and eventually it's a circle. So that represents that, yeah, Mitsuki is also going to have a lot of hardships in his life, and Boruto is going to be the one who's going to be there. Now, obviously, when Mitsuki saw that poster, he didn't know if Boruto was actually going to be his son. But for some reason, it was decided that Boruto was going to be there, Mitsuki was going to try and find his son, which he's doing right now in the anime. And at the end of this episode, this is the most beautiful thing for me, is when he says, I can finally see the sun. He really enjoys both Boruto's and Sarada's, you know, he enjoys the friendships he has with them, especially the friendship that he has with Boruto. And, you know, start of the episode rain, end of the episode sun. It's really symbolic, and I really like that. And Mitsuki is so chill, like when Boruto and Sarada asked him, do you believe me, do you believe me? He was like, that doesn't really matter, I decided to trust both of you. And then the episode finishes. Obviously, the rating for this episode, in my honest opinion, would be 10, because the episode was really symbolic. That was a great fight. The soundtrack was great. We get to know Mitsuki's character, and he is the third main character in the series, and it was really important to know him even more. I'm not saying that we didn't know his character enough already, but this was really needed. Right now we have Boruto, our main character, Sarada, our second main character, and Mitsuki, our third favorite character. We both have them, and we literally know their characters really, really well, as the character development in Boruto is just fucking perfect. It's some, you know, next level shit when it comes to character development in Boruto. Anyway, that was your boy Hokage. I'm really glad that Boruto ended with such an episode. I'm talking like, no, the Boruto didn't end. I'm talking about Boruto in 2017. Anyway, that was your boy Hokage. If you're new to this channel and if you're into Boruto, aka the best series ever, consider subscribing. I will see you in my next video. Bye.